I remember the first time that I tasted strawberries when I was on psilocybin mushrooms years and years ago. And it was as if I tasted strawberries and really anything for the first time in my life. It was almost as if anything up until that point was a lie in what I tasted. And it was just the texture, the juiciness, the taste of the taste, right? Like I could taste my own taste with the strawberry. I know that sounds very kind of perhaps strange, but that was just the way that it felt, right? It was this invigorating moment. And I think about celibacy in a very similar way, where you don't truly realize the depth of your own inner experience until you stop trying to distract yourself with everything. Okay, here's the thing. We are in a fight, spiritual warfare, that is. Spiritually speaking, because we fight against principalities, not flesh and blood. We are in a spiritual war against the breakaway civilization that is symbols, that is mythology, that is mysticism. And people are trying to hijack your own subconscious mind at every single minute, at every single day. You are constantly bombarded by distractions and perversions and ideologies and this and that. Basically, think about this. You are being sold to like a peasant, because a lot of you, including myself at one point in time, was a peasant. I was a peasant because I wanted to buy into the ideologies that I was being fed. I wanted to believe in something more. I wanted to be emotionally invested in something more because I wanted to let other people do the thinking for me. I wanted to let other people do the processing of information for me. Now I purposely come to my own conclusions, even if I'm wrong, because I know that if I'm going to live out the truth, I'm going to live out the truth as I see it. And yes, I'm going to take in information and data from everywhere as much as I can, but I don't really have one single set source or place to go for information. I only get my true information from Jesus Christ himself. And I only allow myself and my own experience to deter me, or rather to invigorate me on my own path. So I'm either deterred by previous experience or what could be in my experience, or I'm invigorated in my obsession to success on that experience. Because that is exactly who we are and what we are as spiritual beings. We are the thing that transcends through time. We are experience in many different ways. The soul itself can only be experienced when your mind, body, and soul is aligned. The body cannot live truly without the soul, and the soul cannot live truly without the body. But once it merges, that's where the soul is free. Okay, that's where the soul is then free, everlasting. But a lot of you people want to continue to title yourself and label yourself thinking that you're free, and you're not. Okay, you're trying to still convince yourself that you have an identity. Okay, why? Have you ever wondered why? Why do you want to have an identity in the first place? What exactly is that? Celibacy frees you from all of these different things. If you take it sincerely and you take it to its fullest end, which you realize in the end there is no end, you take it to its fullest degree and you accept that, okay, this is the way life is. And if I truly want to live free with Jesus Christ, if I really want to live free with him, because Jesus Christ owns you or the devil does. And I know that's a little black and white, but it's pretty much that simple. Okay, it's the yin and yang symbol personified for all intents and purposes. And you know, it's the light versus the dark, right? Okay, think about all the people that you know that are still kind of like in the shadows, right? Or maybe they're trying to live out certain secrets, but they don't want to actually live out the secrets, right? they want to keep these secrets inside themselves, and they want to lie to themselves about the secrets. You can't do that. When you're actually practicing celibacy and you're aiming to be pure, you can't lie to yourself, because it's going to smack you back in your face. And it's going to hurt you so bad that you might not even know that that's what's happening. You might just think that it's something else. And that's the problem, is that you don't take accountability for things. You don't take accountability for your emotions. You're trying to seek an identity in what these people are telling you over here. Like, even me right now, don't take everything that I'm saying as like, oh, this is like the arbiter of truth. I never want people to look at me and say like, oh yeah, like he speaks 100% truth all the time. It's like, well, maybe I know, like, I don't need you to confirm that. I know what I'm speaking is the truth. And you don't need to confirm that for you unless it's resonating with you. But what needs to happen is you need to think for yourself. And celibacy allows you to get to a point to where, like, you don't even know what you're missing until you're truly free. And you see the world for what it is, and you realize that this is war. Everywhere is war. We're in war times. We've always been in war times, and we're always going to be in war. But when I say that, some people want to, oh, let's grab the guns, let's grab our pitchforks and our torches and all. I'm not talking about that kind of war. Like, yeah, that kind of war can't exist. And I think the practicalities of life in this world that we live in and are governed in, because the devil rules this world, yeah, we have to acknowledge that. We have to understand this, but we don't have to pay attention to all these minute experiences. Like, remember to macro view things. Like, it's okay to do the micro view of things, because the devil is in the details, but make sure you, like, separate yourself and God from ideologies, because some of you think that you're living true and free, and you are warped into an ideology and you don't even realize it. And I'm not speaking to you maybe specifically, but I'm speaking to the people that maybe need to hear this, because you need to be mindful of this. And how do you know that how do you know if you're living in the truth? Well, you're coming to your own conclusions on things. Okay, you're seeking only to live what is real and not what you feel is real. Okay, now feeling is important. And this is something that celibacy increases your ability to intuit or to have the sense of instinct. Okay, and that's really important. But what's even more so important is, yes, connecting your genome to your instinct and intuition, because your genome, the best way to put a genome, for those of you that maybe not know, the genome is essentially your biological faculties that have accumulated through time and are associated with your genealogy. Okay, so you have your genealogy, and then you have the totality of your experiences, biologically speaking, and hardwired into you in this present moment of time. If you are truly living the truth and you are in freedom right now, you have already accessed dormant DNA, which I do believe celibacy helps you activate. Because anytime you're leveling up spiritually, you're going to... we're going deep into this, guys. For those of you that are prepared, just stay with us. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to go somewhere else, because this is not for you. Or if you want to go deeper into this stuff, like, because I'm giving you guys a lot of game. I'm realizing this now. I'm giving you a lot of game here, because we're going really deep right here. Okay, this is very deeply psychological and spiritual, and connecting you to the world in a way that you never even knew was probably possible for a lot of you out there. Because it's so challenging to talk about these kinds of topics without getting giving the macro overview of the macro overview, right? It's hard to talk about, and that's one of the reasons why I think the Bible is written in such a specific way. Because the Bible is written as like, well, okay, this is what happened, and you can believe it or you don't have to believe it. That's just the way that I speak as well nowadays. I don't try to convince anybody to live anything, I don't convince them to try to see things the way that I see things. I'm just living the example that I can be for the best of my ability. I'm just aiming to be visible, not necessarily trying to persuade anybody. This is what I think. I'm standing on my square. I'm standing on business. I'm not trying to convince anybody that this is the only way to go. Okay, go to Jesus Christ for that. That's not me. That's what I'm saying is I get a lot of DMs and people talking to me about how like there's certain things that I say that they feel like is just so true. And then I have on the flip side, people are like, "Oh dude, you're hurt, bro. Oh, you need to heal more, bro." Like, "Oh, somebody's insecure." It's like, oh my gosh, you guys are so silly. Like, you're the one with an anonymous keyboard warrior person. Like, you're the one being an anonymous keyboard warrior right now. And you're talking about insecurity? Dude, you won't even show your face online. Like, this is the world that we live in, right? And a lot of people, these people are probably bots. I literally have to ask myself more often than not, is this an AI? Am I talking to an AI? Because AI is going to change, and it is already changing the world. AI is going to play such an important factor in the spiritual wars to come, and the best antidote against these psychological and spiritual diseases that the masses are going to be just contacted with and implemented with is purity of mind, body, and spirit. And the best way to do that, number one, is to start being celibate. Or if you're in a long-term relationship, make sure you're only in that long-term relationship with that person. If you are sharing sexual energy physically with someone else for long durations of time, you don't think that that's going to play a factor? Like, you don't think that that's going to be something that's going to play a factor in your psychology and your spirituality long-term? Hello? In 2026, it's you versus lust. That's how it has to be. You have to have, it's you versus lust in 2026, because it's the lust of greed, it's the lust of pride, it's the lust of gluttony. Like, all these things are wrapped up into one, and we're all walking each other out of Dante's Inferno, okay? If you've ever read Dante's Inferno, it's about Virgil walking Dante through the Inferno, the circles of hell, right? There's 9 circles of hell. Each one gets more and more difficult to get out of once you're in there. And lust is technically it's limbo's the first circle, but second circle is lust. And the punishment is ironically the very similar type of thing that people are in the real world. Okay, the punishment is you are stuck, surrounded in this pit with other naked people rubbed up against each other for eternity. Okay, that is your punishment. Your punishment is the sin that you committed in the world. So people don't even realize that you are actually, when you're in sin, like, it may be pleasurable, it may be fun, because it is fun, it is pleasurable, sure, sometimes, to partake in sin, but does that make it right? No. People are not taught nowadays that you can actually live without sin and be joyful. like you can be joyful and at peace, you can be strategic, you can be full of life, vigor, and zest, and power, and influence, and not have to live in sin. You don't have to live in sin. And Father, forgive me for all the sins that I've committed in my life, because I know that I've committed a lot of sins and I'm a sinner, but it's not to say that I am not a good person. This is one thing that I hate about a lot of these Christian people out here, or all of these other religions and all this stuff. Like, they always berate you for being someone that's flawed, and it's like, you were made flawed, man. Like, hello, original sin. You were born into sin. It's like what Bon Jovi says in Blaze of Glory. He's like, well, at least they gave me something I didn't have to work for, basically, right? What's that line in Blaze of Glory? Isn't it something like They say you're born in sin. Well, at least they gave me something. I didn't have to steal or have to win. Yeah, that's what the line is. Yeah, so at least they gave us, like, at least God gave us something we didn't have to steal or win, right? Because that's all these people are. Everybody's so greedy. Everybody's full of stealing and zest for not actual life and joy in the Holy Spirit, but they're actually filled with this disgusting sense of superiority and ideology, configuration, and trying to force other people to live in that configuration. And a lot of these people don't even know that that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And celibacy and you fighting against lust frees you. It frees you from this world of disgust. It frees you from this world of non-grace. It frees you with all due velocity of power and grace through Jesus Christ. That's what celibacy is about. It's actually about. I just realized like how passionate I was getting. Because it makes you crazy, man. It makes you crazy. Like looking out at the world and you're like, you guys are just, I'm trying to help you out of the inferno, man. I'm trying to help you out of the inferno. And you just want to keep paddling upstream, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you just want to keep trying to paddle the wrong way. And life doesn't need to be so difficult. Life doesn't need to be so hard. It doesn't need to be so complicated. And yet that's just kind of where we are. You know, we're where we are in life and in society because people are so hell-bent on being right and not actually realizing like we are fighting against the principalities, okay? We're fighting against these deep archaeological, anthropological symbols and mythologies and mysticisms and all these things. Like the Bible talks about this, right? The Bible, it's just basically emanating truth. And I'm not even saying that the Bible's the only truth, right? I'm not even saying that because I don't think that it's appropriate for you to see the Bible as the truth. Now, what do I mean by this? Because I know a lot of people, whoa, Thaddeus, what do you mean by that? It's like, okay, well, the Father is first. Okay, the Father is first. Then, like, you can sort out the truth from there. But as long as you only worship the Father, if you worship a book, okay, if you worship a book, you're a materialist. And it's not to say that, how do I say this? It's not to say that there's not great utility and understanding. Of course, you need to read the Bible. Of course, if you actually want to get close to God, like reading the Bible is going to be an important part of that. However, truth comes where, like, truth is a pathless land, right? Like, that's something that Krishnamurti talked about. Truth is a pathless land. And I even talk about this in my book, The Book of Oldishness. And again, like, you don't even have to take my book at every single word to be the truth, okay? Like, I wrote it to the best of my ability, and I even say in my intro here that not everything is completely finished or final. And that's something that I noticed with all of Carl Jung's work as well. Carl Jung's work, for example, Psychology and Alchemy, one of the greatest books I've ever seen. You know, this is and ever read. I mean, just the imagery in here is just, I mean, it's just crazy, right? The imagery is beautiful. But again, it's not something to worship, right? Like, a lot of alchemy is actually a bit of witchcraft. But the problem is that if you are exposed to the truth and to evil and you know the difference, it is a form of witchcraft to not rebel against that evil. And the thing is that you don't have to rebel through guns, or you don't have to rebel through destruction or fire or whatever. You can rebel through spirituality by being free. Just by you being free, that's going to be inviting the most authenticity and the most authentic version of yourself into your life. And you're going to be living with this sense of joy and peace that nobody else can comprehend, simply because you are on your own level, man. Like Jesus says, ye are gods. We are so powerful, and they just don't want us to know this. The powers that be don't want us to know this, because then we'd realize that we don't have to listen to a GD thing that they say. All we need is Jesus Christ and God himself. I said this before, I say it again. If everybody just followed the law, statutes, and commandments of God, we wouldn't need government. We wouldn't need industries. We wouldn't need universities. We wouldn't need all of these whatever. We would just be living free. So, that was my Thaddeus talk for today. I hope everybody stays blessed out there. If this kind of stuff is resonating with you, okay, you need to get on a one-on-one with me, or do the Godlike Mastery Initiation Program with me, or join the Regal Change Academy for free, okay? Because we have the free tier in there. You can join the community for free. And then if you want to get on the group calls where you want to talk about this kind of stuff in more detail, that's the place to go for the premium tier, okay? And the reason that I have a paywall, a lot of people think that I should do this for free. And I say to myself, like, you have no clue, do you? You really don't know about this world. The world doesn't value anything unless there's money involved. Okay? And it's not even, and I'm not even saying that this is the world. I'm just saying that this is exactly why people will never truly be able to commit sometimes. They'll never truly be able to commit because you get value, like you have to pay. There's a cost. It's just like real world experience. There's a price. And why should I, who have spent years of wisdom, developing my wisdom, and years of experience going through unnecessary suffering and necessary suffering, just give you all this information for free? Now, there's nothing wrong with sharing your soul, of course. But the thing is that I am under no obligation, and you are under no obligation to, although we can live free in this world, it's like, this is where the Joker actually makes a good point. He's like, if you're good at something, you never do it for free. And that's exactly the way that it is. Okay? I know because I have the results. I know because I have actual fruits. And these people who just want to take advantage, and then they gaslight you, and they try to force you into making certain decisions because, oh, well, you're supposed to be godly. Okay, go somewhere else, man. Like, there's no worries, no harm, no foul. It's just so crazy, the world that we live in, man. Everybody wants to get everything for free and then not value it. That's why there's a paywall to this stuff. Okay, and I'm giving so much game on my videos. You can do just about anything with the stuff that I put out online for free on my X account, on YouTube, etc. You can take these nuggets of truth and apply it to your own life and see how it plays out. See how it works out for you. If your life gets better, you're welcome. And if it doesn't, I mean, I don't see how it wouldn't. I haven't really met anybody that's applied the stuff that I've talked about and said, oh, my life got worse. They just say that it gets more difficult because you actually see reality for what it is. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, life gets more difficult, but it gets more freeing. And and you have to decide, is that what you really want? You know, that's what this is all about. You versus lust 2026, man. Lust of all things. I hope everybody stays blessed. Peace. Until next time.